So what we're going to be making here is an army helmet, okay? Minus this complex strap here. What I'm going to do is save this into a folder on my desktop. Folder is called helmet, and inside I have helmet. I have ref. I'm going to save it in here. You'll often see me make a very complex type of folder structures, and that's just for me because I'm a neat freak, and you have to kind of be when you're doing Maya. So here's a new scene within Maya, and I want to set my project to that folder. So here's helmet, choose. The reason I do that is because let's say I need to bring in that asset, that texture. Well, here's a brand new polygonal box, right? If I assign a new material to the box, I can quickly go over to color. I can go to file. I can go in here and look at it goes right to helmet, right to the picture. Okay. So I can bring in that pretty easy. I'm going to right click and assign existing material Lambert 1 back to that. But the reason I brought that in here is the fact that I can now put it on a polygon plane and use it as a reference. So I can assign existing Lambert 2. There it is. So that's a very fast way to bring in textures from the outside world. So I'm just going to rotate this a little bit, 90 degrees. Now I just put that back there for you really to kind of get an idea of why I'm doing the things I'm doing. Really, I've done this a few thousand times it feels like. So with helmets and swords and everything else, but I always run a lecture with something in the background so the students kind of see what's going on. Another thing to note is I use positive X as my guide to know where to model from. So I don't want to model in Z. I want to model in X. Why? Because everything I bring into Maya is just easy to maintain. It's easy to maintain with the cutting of the objects too. I know how to mirror stuff in negative X, but I don't want to think about mirroring stuff in negative Z. Okay. So if I set myself up ahead of time, I'm all better for it. Okay. So in here, what I want to do is mesh smooth this. And then remove the faces on the bottom. And I'm just going to insert an edge right here. Okay. Now what happens when I hit 3 on the keyboard, I already get a helmet, okay, and that's telling me that I have the kind of the correct shape down because of that. So I'm always using 1 and 3 because I'm always seeing at the next level what would that helmet look like, okay? Because I model a little bit differently than most people. I model for the next level. I'm very heavily into modeling with ZBrush. So I've adapted that kind of workflow back here in Maya. Okay. So what I'm going to do is extrude this and make it double-sided. Give it a little girth here. Important to note that, I could have used the shell, but the problem with that is, let me undo that and I'll show you why we don't do that. And if somebody told you to do that, they should not tell you to do that. So in here, we use backface culling. It's very important to note that in Maya, everything works perfect, okay? But if you go to port this to any other program or game engine, you're going to get this. Whoa, where'd it go, right? That's because of normals, and normals are facing in the outward direction, and I can use polygons, display face normals to show face normals. If I hit G on the keyboard, it'll turn it off. G is last command. So there we go. Now I know that in a game engine, I will get this. If the character is running up to me, I can now see under his hat and into the sky, which is clipping and it is ugly. So what we're going to do is add some outer shell to it. Now, if he was running up to me, I only see this. All right, to get the shape of this helmet, what I can do is try to pull these vertices out and manipulate them a little bit. Rather than do that, what I like to do is just assign a shell to this as a lattice. So under animation, I got to create lattice square box, and I can use 4, 4, 4, 4. So this is local divisions and divisions. And what that gives me is this. And what's nice about this, I can right click on it and go to lattice point, and I can kind of pull this out a little bit, and it kind of runs the entire show. So I know this helmet in this area, I can scale it in a little bit. I can still manipulate the points. Now let's say this set of points right here needs to come down a little bit. Okay, that's totally legit. I could still do that, no problem whatsoever. Okay, I could bring these in a little bit. What I now need is an extra edge loop, however. The reason I need that is because see the form change that's happening here? Okay, remember, 1 and 3 on the keyboard kind of give me that shape. So if I need to do it in 3, I can. And I can go like this. Bring that up. Okay, so now I got kind of that front going on. I want to do that to the back too. I want to kind of get that shape down. So if I pull that down like that with the lattice, it's nice to have that lattice attached. And I can grab these vertices and pull them in. Okay, so that's how you get the shape. And now this helmet's kind of wide, so what I want to do is grab all these and grab all these and hit R on the keyboard. Kind of shrink them in a little bit. I'm also going to shrink this bowl up at the top in a little bit. And I can also go to edge, double click on it, and I can shrink this down. So there we go. We have our army helmet. So in the next video, I want to go into this a little bit more.